It's a Jeep thing.
Yeah, it's a Jeep thing.
Yeah, so today's a day that we're trying to find out some sort of radio communications. I'll show you the ones that we use when we're driving, and it just seems to be not the best thing suited for us. We want to be able to, you know, just go without having to worry, did you buy batteries? They're good, but when you have to mismatch them, sometimes they don't have the good range on them. So, and
it's also
it's frustrating
when you have to repeat yourself 2 and 3 times because the other person either just didn't get it or didn't hear it. Paul and I deal with that on all the time out on the trails. So
I'll show you the ones that we have. So this is one of the handhelds that we have. We have a pair of each of these, but these are probably the best ones that we have for communication. It doesn't really you know, fade off or anything like that. But when you're mixing the blue one, but this one here, when we're trying to use both of these, you know, one in one vehicle, one in the other, it just doesn't work. They break up, they pause, so you're really, you know, you're left frustrated more than it's worth it. So these ones are good, but once again, just the batteries, right? It's always batteries in wintertime, everything. You're looking to, you know, always have to bring some extras around with you. So, and the one I had just the other day was heating up so bad, I smelled burning electronics in it. So I think contact wise on the batteries, I may have to take a look at it. They're very good. They've lasted me for a long time. We bought these for our kids and us when we were in our trailer, but it's time to upgrade, I think. So what did you find out about these radios that we're trying to figure out what are the best radios? We got a few of these selections. We got actually pairs to all these. So we got 6 radios, and then we got a couple others somewhere else. But these are the ones that we use currently. Are they any good?
They're probably.
Some are better than others. I had to take the batteries out while driving, and kind of produced a dangerous thing for us. That's why we're shopping for some new ones now. And then when we mismatch them, they don't seem to get you the quality that we need.
The clearness, like it just...
It's interrupted, right?
Yeah.
We don't get the signals. We're missing half the conversations,
yeah,
you know, and then we wonder, well, what's going on? Did they get my message or what? So it's just a different level of frustration. Although these ones were good, you know, I'm not knocking these Motorola ones, but you know, these other ones, the Uniden, these Uniden ones didn't like these at all.
No.
And these black ones were all right.
Well, and I didn't find the black ones as bad, but they don't pick up the conversation as clear as the blue Motorola's for some reason. So, yeah, the two-way radios, they're great. They do what they're supposed to do. And, you know, like for emergency cases or, you know, just a small outing, that radio communication is fine. And it suits some people just fine.
And we were hoping this weekend to have had purchased something. We went to a bunch of box stores such as Bass Pro Sports. We went to, just a few other ones that we went to, London Drugs. And, you know, we thought, well, what do we need? Like, we don't even know what we need. You know, so I started looking up some CB shops, and we found one in Calgary that, that's going to be part 2 of this video, because I think we're going to have an interview with them. They're going to set up, you know, what is the best for us. You know, I talked to them already, kind of, and they're going to go through the whole scenario, you know, and there's so many of them out there.
Well, like you said, Paul, earlier, it opened up a Pandora box of so many different radio communications that we've touched upon it. I've done my homework. I have paper upon paper of information that I've taken down, but the Pandora box is now being opened for methods.
It's confusing.
That it is. It's absolutely confusing, and you have to eventually,
megahertz and gigahertz, and
like a lot of them have the same ranges, but if you added a different length of antenna, you add more of the frequency range, and it gets confusing. But
and I'm hoping by getting Colleen to do this that it inspires other ladies out there to do the same thing. Like, find out what these are all about, because if you're using these in your vehicles or whatever you have, you know, it just becomes an expense that they just collect and they sit in your Jeeps, right? We don't need all these.
No.
And I prefer, you know, a powered source versus a battery source. I don't know what you guys use out there, you know, and this next 2 episodes are just going to be based on communication, and the reason why we find it important is so that we can bring good content to you folks at home, and maybe help you out if you're doing the same sort of thing. And we want your feedback on this 100%, because we just don't know. So.
Yeah, at this stage we don't know.
Do you want this one or this one? Okay, that's the winner. Oh, that one. So these particular ones, I guess they would fall under the FRS/GMRS. I think it's based on how many channels you have on them. I'm just going to go with, these are like this is a GMRS type radio. It's not really a GMRS. It's more, if they have short antennas, they're FRS, which is Family Radio System.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Colleen will read off whatever else she found out here.
So we can talk about features. Features of your traditional walkie-talkie, and that's usually the ones that a lot of people have at home. Built-in microphone, built-in antennas. So antennas, different sizes. Every one of them have different sizes. Push to talk, so what they call is PTT, a button that's going to turns off the receiver and turns on the transmitter. Rechargeable batteries, some of them do have that.
These ones with the prongs at the back,
yeah,
they're all rechargeable, but of course over time you lose the chargers. Now what do? Now you're looking for batteries, so not the best.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on.
And how many of those features have we used?
Probably like zero. Yeah, we just use them.
Some of these even have like little flashlights on them, but regardless,
yeah,
there's a little flashlight on the bottom. If it works, it's great. But once again, it's features that we don't use.
Send and receive messages. Although they have a half duplex channel, which means so only one can transmit the signal, everybody else receives it. So you can't talk over one another. The usual maximum range for a walkie-talkie is about 5 miles. However, there are some designs that can reach up to 36 miles. So that's a big range, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Another capability of the walkie-talkie, or these types of radios in general, that I thought was interesting fact was, consider walkies go where cells die. So cells die, you have no communication. Radios are restricted to line of sight. So you can't be behind a great big hill or a mountain trying to communicate with the other person.
Comms can't go like this and down.
So. Exactly. Transmission is normally up to 8 kilometers. However, they do have a range of 3 to 5 kilometers of clear transmission. VHF radios travel further outdoors. So that's your VHF. But your UHF can penetrate wood, steel, and concrete, and commonly are used around the urban areas. So like what a security guard would carry.
Yeah, they would have longer antennas then.
Right. And they penetrate through things, whereas the VHF does not. Capabilities of CB radios. Users can communicate through short distance radio system. It's limited to 4 watts, and that's regulated. 4 watts of output power. Most CBs have 1 to 5 mile range, and on occasion 3 to 6 miles. They are low cost to purchase. They are reliable, so very reliable, and versatile application. Capabilities of GMRS radios. Transmission ranges from 1 to 2 miles and up to 5 miles with taller antennas. So just like what Paul was saying, taller antennas, better transmission. If the GMRS repeater includes a tall antenna, your transmission can reach up to 20 miles. Some places, these radios require a license, GMRS.
Yeah, that's the thing that we're looking at too. Like these, no license required. GMRSs, here in Alberta, you don't need a GMRS license unless it's higher wattage than what the government specifies. Then there's ham radios. I think you need a license, an operator's license for that. Satellite phones you don't, but they're very, very expensive, like out of my price range anyways for what we use.
Right. So again, the GMRS is short distance, two-way voice communication using handheld mobile radios and repeater systems. They can communicate with walkies if they are on the same channel. These are the only two radio communications that actually can link together of different families. So that's what I found out. Capabilities of ham radios. Capable of longer transmission because they use more bandwidth and higher power level. Typically, the transmission range is 2 to 18 miles. However, with the right device, transmission can reach over hundreds of miles.
Yeah, you can go right across the world with those.
They even say space
Space
stations.
talk,
Yeah.
you know, and that's based off repeaters and stuff.
Yeah. Mandatory license is needed to operate this radio. So you do have to take a test, and you do have to pass that test.
And I think the
license.
disadvantages to those is that it's only communication between your group that has those. So, you know, that we have to look strongly at as well. Like these, you bring a party of 5 or whatever, and everybody can communicate with each other, but, you know, we might be limited on other choices.
Yeah. They're higher cost, of course. The price tag goes up. And they're an extremely reliable communication device,
So
with
like
no doubt.
the end of the world kind of deal where you
Yeah.
know, the cell services are down and radio communication most important.
Yeah. So, I mean, out of all the information that I did collect, and it was overwhelming for me, honestly, overwhelming for me. One thing that I did want to make very clear, and I did understand this quite well, was whether an individual purchases a communication device that requires a license or one that doesn't, it's important to know the rules and regulations on radio communication. So below, Paul will insert a link to a website. It's Government of Canada website containing these guidelines for you. So what did we learn through this?
I think that we still have a lot to learn on, and I think this interview that we're going to go on, I don't know if we'll purchase one. We have ideas. We don't know exactly what we want, but maybe you'll be able to see what purchase we'll be making, and you'll see us going out there shortly, I guess.
And I think what I took away was choosing the right communication device takes time, and it also takes research, right?
Yeah.
You got to know the products that are out there and the communication styles that are out there. Knowing the products available and their capabilities will help you decide on the right communication that's best suited for you and your group, or you and your family in general. So.
Yeah. And for the rest of you guys, I think that Colleen did a bang-up job. So we'll keep you informed on the next video. We'll go to that interview. We'll see what's best for our vehicles, and then we'll make a decision. Maybe we'll come back and install something new in our vehicles.
And
we'll
see you on the next one.
Well, good morning. It's Monday. We're going to try and go and see if we can find any of these CB radios today that maybe somebody can shed some light on me professionally that do this for a living. So I'm just outside the entrance of the GPS Central. That's one of the Calgary stores here. So what I'm going to go in and see if they'll allow me to videotape them. Maybe they can help me out with some questions I have, and maybe it'll help you guys out in the long run too.